won't you just? Now won't you just? So come on. We're cruising down 45. We're cruising down 45. So won't you take a ride? Just come on with me, baby. We're cruising down 45. We're cruising down 45. We're cruising down 45. I'm on 45 with my 45.
What? Hey everybody, welcome back. It's 45 Live Podcast, keeping it real in Mobile and Prichard too on the People's Platform. And I am your host, J-45, Mr. Key to the City, everything pretty, the host of the Gulf Coast, the Alabama hippie, east of the muddy, mighty Mississippi. And today we have Mayoral candidate of Prichard, Miss Carletta Davis. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic, and it's getting close to the election.
It is.
August 26th, take the whole family out. Tuesday, August 26th, I cannot stress this enough. This is one of the most vital elections in Mobile County. And we got one of the candidates here who's running for mayor of Prichard that just needs some real TLC. And, just want to start off by ask you, why did you want to run for mayor of Prichard?
Just what you just said. I see that Prichard needs a lot of TLC. And contrary to what people may believe about me, I didn't just pop on the scene. I've been working and volunteering my time and talents and efforts in Prichard for my community to get better. And what I have experienced is that on every turn I come to a roadblock. Nothing can ever get completed. Nobody ever really cares enough to carry things out to really affect change for the people of Prichard. So I said, well, I'll just run myself.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to be like a job interview from the urban community point of view.
All right.
And that's what we're going to treat it as.
All right.
So give us a little bit about your history, your resume on how you have done service and what neighborhood you come from and everything.
Mm-hmm. So I actually was born and raised right here in the city of Prichard.
Okay.
I was raised in Whistler in District 3 on Thornton Avenue.
Okay.
And then we moved up to District 1 later in my high school years. I think
Viger Wolfpack.
Yes, right. So I'm a graduate of the Viger High School.
Wolfpack.
Right, class of 1992.
Okay.
And from there, I went off to college, and I did a good stint of my career in banking in Birmingham. And that afforded me the opportunity to work in the community, start working in the community there in Birmingham with Mayor Langford under his tenure. And so I was able to learn a lot about how municipal government works and how they should be partnering with private entities in order to help to make better the community, right? And so when I got pregnant with my son, I actually had him early and had to come back home. And that's actually how I got back to Prichard.
Absolutely.
And so I've been here ever since, and I love my city. And so that is basically the resume of my professional career. How I got to begin to work in the community is when we had that bad odor, as everybody knows it to be, but it's actually the mercaptan spill that happened in 8 Mile. And so I saw again that we were not getting the results that we as a community should have gotten. When BP happened, the whole world was in an uproar, and there was billions of dollars that came to communities that were affected, which Prichard never got any of that money. I think we may have gotten about $600,000 of $20 billion that came down. But when the mercaptan spill happened here in Prichard, we never got that type of treatment. Our environment was not being cleaned up. The health of the people was not being considered. And so, just as a regular citizen, I stepped up. I stepped up and I said, "Oh no, we can't do this."
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you feel like when Prichard misses out on all this money, like grants and everything? Because Prichard has had all kind of opportunities to get this funding, like the BP spill. Why we just got the crumbs? What would you do to keep that? You know what I'm saying? Keep Prichard out the loop. You know what I'm saying? Keep Prichard getting money coming in instead of we missing out on it.
So let me back up to the Mercaptan spill, because the Mercaptan spill and the BP oil spill all happened kind of around the same time. I was tapped to kind of lead the efforts with our community, but I was also tapped to lead a coalition, a 5-state coalition from Texas to Florida for the BP oil spill, because the Restore Act came down and there was no provisions for minority communities. So here I am leading a coalition from Texas to Florida about how do we get money into our communities, and our own community did not get any money. So it, first of all, I know that when I was at those meetings, I didn't see representatives from Prichard there. I was at those meetings. So that's the first thing, is that you got to show up and be at the table. Okay. The second thing is our financial picture, or our financial management, right, has to be better. We don't have our books in order. We don't have the people in place to be able to receive the funding that is available to us. And I feel that is oftentimes the reason why we miss out on that kind of funding, like with the Justice 40 money. There's trillions of dollars that came down during the Biden-Harris administration that we did not participate in. How do I know this? Again, throughout my stay here in Prichard, since I've been back, they have always tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, can you come and volunteer on this committee or that committee? And a lot of those times, it was financial committees that I was asked to volunteer on. And when I look at how the financial picture lays out, we're not even keeping our records properly. And I've voiced those opinions and voiced those things over and over and over again. And again, they just do not take that advice, which is why I'm running.
Absolutely. What is your plan to get economic development here? Because as you see, there's all kind of successful economic development going on in the other municipalities, especially Mobile. And Mobile is going to have an overflow of people that could come to Prichard. What is your plan to have Prichard come up to par, to get the overflow that's going around in Africa Town with the tourists coming to the Welcome Center and all those good things? What is your plan for that?
Well, let me say this: a person who is leading in any type of economic growth has to first understand what economic development is and what it is not. Okay. And you cannot have economic development without community development first. So that just means that we've got to set the foundation right for our community to grow. Again, we got to go back and set the infrastructure up within our financial departments. We got to make sure our public works is working correctly. We got to make sure that our public safety is working correctly. And then you can begin to participate in what is going on around you regionally, right? And be able to bring in some of those economic development pieces. But you got to develop your community first. If the people that live here don't want to live here, nobody else is coming. So right. We've got to be realistic about that. People are.
So you think it's going to take more than a term to get it right?
I think it's definitely going to take some time. But here's the thing that we can do on day one. The internal controls and the internal things that we need to fix, like making sure that our business license process is easy, that our fees are competitive with our neighbors, making sure that our ordinances are up to date and online and available. So if there's a corporation, they're probably likely not local. They get online and they look at what the ordinance say, what the business fees are. We should have all of those things available. We need to come into the 21st century, right?
Absolutely.
And our customer service, when people interact with our administration, they need to feel like we want to do business with them, right?
Absolutely. Because see, Prichard does not have like retail stores. We don't have hotels. All our tax revenue from the residents of Prichard is going outside to the other cities.
That's true.
And it's unacceptable.
Very much.
You know, so that is one of my biggest concerns. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If that keeps continuing, Prichard's just going to crumble.
It is.
You know, so you got a plan to like attract these big box hotels and retail stores?
Yes. The plan is, again, we've got to go to the basics and building the foundation of our community. You know, we got to have good parks and recs. Nobody wants to put a company here and then their employees don't have a place for their families, right? We want the families to come here. We want them to enjoy the parks and recs department. We want them to enjoy the schools. We want them to feel safe, right? We want them to not have flooding whenever it rains a little bit, right? So these are the things that we have to fix first before we grow. You cannot have economic development without community development first.
And our biggest concern is this water leak. It is getting worse and worse. There's a leak on Craft Highway. Like, you can't see the hole, and it's been tearing a lot of citizens' cars up. And a lot of people don't have the money for that, you know, that emergency maintenance. And as soon as the water is splashed when somebody runs into it, the water come right up. That is a public safety concern.
It is.
If it keeps on going, it's going to be a sinkhole because all that erosion underground is going to collapse.
Collapse the road.
So how do you hold the Prichard Water and Sewer accountable for that and let them to get them on their jobs to take care of this problem, because it's going to become a real danger soon.
I want to be real clear with you and the viewers, okay? The water and sewer issue is not an issue that I just picked up, okay? This is an issue that we have had for quite some time, and I started fighting this issue, and on my own dime, I went to Washington to petition EPA to come in and help the city of Prichard with its infrastructure, okay? At the end of the day, you know, I know that right now everybody wants to make the water issue their issue, right? But this is not something that has just started. This is something that has been, and let me be clear. The government of Prichard was not there for the people of Prichard in this situation. Let me be clear. Every time people complained about the water, it was always, we don't have anything to do with the water, okay? I also want to let your viewers know that the water board is appointed by the city council. Now, I've watched them appoint people that were their friends, that were their political favors, okay? And that's how we got to where we are with this water situation. That's number one. I want to be real clear on that. I've not made this a issue just to run on. Okay? This was an issue that I started working on back in 2023 when I filed in court. When our own city government did not file on behalf of this community, our organization stepped up and filed. I actually testified on behalf of our community. So I just want to be real clear on that, because there's a lot of folks jumping on the water bandwagon now because they know that that's a major issue.
That is one of the major issues.
And it's also a major issue as to why our economic growth has stalled.
Absolutely.
People are not going to move into a city where their water bills is higher than their power bills. And in some cases higher than their mortgage. Okay,
right.
And you cannot have commercial businesses wanting to move in and their water bills are high. So again, I've actually had people come to me on the campaign trail. I'm being completely transparent right now, okay?
That's what we asked for.
That have told me to drop the water issue. Don't talk about the water issue. But I want the people of Prichard to know that a Davis's administration is going to solely focus on making sure that this water situation is fixed.
And the water issue is affecting the city because it's tearing up the streets.
It's affecting every aspect of our city. The citizens' quality of life, the citizens' public safety, our infrastructure. It's affecting
the water the fire hydrant.
That's what I'm saying. Public safety.
Absolutely.
We've had people to die in homes because we could not pump water from the hydrant to put the fire out. So I'm sorry. I understand that there are people that don't want me to talk about the water situation. But if that means that I don't get to be the mayor, I'm going to continue to talk about the fact that the people of Prichard are suffering under an oppressive situation with this water situation.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get into the citizens' questions.
Okay.
Someone asked, will they figure out a place to have a volume blunt game besides last stadium in the future?
Will we figure out? You mean? Oh yes.
How do
you have the Battle of Prichard in Mobile?
In the middle of Mobile,
That makes no sense.
And they getting tax revenue.
Makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yes. So I will focus. I feel like, again, that was a ball drop by our administration and our government. We should have sat down to the table with Mobile County Public School Board, just like they did with LAD, like Mobile did with LAD, and figure out how can we get our stadium up to par. But again, that was a ball drop.
Okay. Instead of patching up the whole city, can we pave one road at a time? If it takes another 50 years, it'll be better than what's been happening for the past 50.
Ooh, that is very good. We need to have a comprehensive plan and strategy in order to fix the things that we all know have been wrong, including our roads and infrastructure. Let me tell you something. For us to take and resurface a road and the infrastructure underneath that road has failed, it's just a waste of money. So that person is exactly correct. What we need to do is we need to come up with a comprehensive plan, and we need to move throughout the city, fix the infrastructure underneath the road, and then resurface that road. That's exactly what we need to do.
Okay, next question. Can we where there are traffic lights or in four-way stops, example, reevaluate where are the lights in four-way stops, example, Whistler and Gould Avenue, and could be a four-way, and the intersection by McMillan's Barbecue needs a light.
Absolutely. Well, when I grew up down the street on Watson Avenue, it used to be a light there, and there was an accident and the light got knocked down and was never replaced. We need to see, these are the types of things that I'm saying about the quality of life. Yes, we need to reevaluate where all of the traffic stops need to be. We need a traffic study. We need a traffic study. And we can definitely do that when we get into office and recommend that to the council.
Okay. What are you going to do to ensure that Prichard Police Department responds to calls with a sense of urgency? Where is the traffic enforcement?
First of all, there is no traffic enforcement.
And that's that's a public safety issue.
Again, a public safety issue and a quality of life issue. Because people have lost their lives on 45. I avoid 45, to be honest with you. Because I've seen people just run through the light on 45 and hit a person and keep going. So at the end of the day, here's what I will commit to the people of Prichard. I've already began to look at what we can do with our police and firemen, to include looking at our budget, because we got to pay people what they are worth. If we want to have better policing in Prichard, we've got to pay people who we expect to put their lives on the line when we call them. We got to pay them what they're worth. We also have to give them the resources that are needed. We also have to make sure that they're well trained and well supported. So those are the things that we're going to do. We also looked into creating an Office of Public Safety Director. I believe that there needs to be a public safety director that will come up with a plan for our fire and policemen.
Absolutely. Since running the city is a business, what business experiences do you have?
Okay, so I have owned a business since I was 24 years old.
Okay.
And I currently own a business now.
Okay.
And so I have plenty of business experience, along with the fact that I'm a former banker and I have that financial background as well. I believe that the city is a corporation. It's incorporated. It is a business. It needs to be conducted that way. We don't need to have our friend and kin that are working.
Nepotism.
Nepotism.
My word.
Okay. In our government, I believe that we need to have highly qualified people that are held accountable for their work. And that's how businesses are successful and sustagnable.
Absolutely. Well, on a positive note, we're coming up on 100 years in Prichard. How do you plan to celebrate?
Yes,
100 years of Prichard?
I am so excited. First of all, let me say this. I am a person that loves to have a good time, that loves to celebrate, and I believe
we see
that, and I believe that is a part of building community, right?
Absolutely.
When we can come together and celebrate. And I know a lot of people don't even know that Prichard is turning 100. I mean, had I been in office, we would have had flags all down 45 already saying that, hey, it's 100 years. We would have started in January party and celebrate.
Absolutely.
So, listen, we're going to get in there and we're going to see what resources we have. But I can guarantee you this, we're going to have a good time.
All right, we should. And my final question.
Okay.
Why should the citizens of Prichard vote for you?
Because it's time to get a fresh start. We need a fresh start.
Okay.
We need to rebuild our foundation. We need to find a new hope. We need to set a new vision for Prichard because we need a new future. Right now, we're on the wrong path.
Okay, well, hey, you heard it right here from Carletta Davis right here on 45 Live Podcast, keeping it real in Mobile and Prichard on the People's Platform. Brought to you by alabamahiphopradio, a new way to listen. It's hammer time, y'all. Y'all vote August the 26th. It's only important that you vote. Too many of our ancestors passed away and died for our right to vote. So practice your right to vote. We out of here. It's hammer time. Bow. G-R.